Olivia Rodrigo once said, and I quote, "All your friends are so cool, you go out every night. In your daddy's nice car, yeah, you living the life. Got a pretty face, pretty boyfriend too. I wanna be you so bad, and I don't even know you. All I see is what I should be. Happier, prettier, jealousy, jealousy. All I see is what I should be. I'm losing it. All I get is jealousy, jealousy." End of quote. Now, who do you want to be in 2026? Do you want to be the person who is singing these lyrics, or do you want to be the person that these lyrics are about? Now, don't get me wrong, Olivia made it super far, and that's how we know that you can make it far as well. I used to be like that too, daydreaming about my dream life and my dream self and wondering what's wrong and why am I not my dream self already. I used to get into this very toxic mindset in which I was looking at others, scrolling and thinking that they're so out of my league and that their success is so like over the top and that I could never achieve something like that, and that stopped me from even trying. Now, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you want to achieve, or your circumstances. If I could go from hopelessly aesthetic wannabe to the queen of aesthetic and aesthetic editing that I am now, then you can achieve anything that you want. So without further ado, let us start with this video. Now, I'm going to be splitting this video into two parts. Now, first part is going to be the mindset that helped me become the person that I wanted to become, and that I'm going to use in 2026 as well, because there's always something that I wish to improve and there's always new chapters and new steps that you have to step onto. So I think life is always about self-improving. So don't just beat yourself up, because you can only be the perfect version of yourself once you die, because there's nothing for you to do anymore. There's no more evolving. So end up loving every version of yourself despite that. And the second part of this video is going to be about things that I did this year that helped me so much, what I wanted to do, and achieving my dream life. Two parts. First part, mindset. Second part, actual practical things that I did. Now, I used to think life is so hard, and whenever a minor inconvenience happened, I would just start crying and saying life is so hard, it's not for me, things are going so bad, and so on. Until one day I looked at myself and thought, why are you doing this? Why are you living from the victim's mindset? Like, that's so pathetic, honestly. It felt so pathetic to me to be living from the victim's mindset. I asked myself, do you want to live from the victim's mindset and cry every single time an inconvenience happens? Or do you want to be the person that realizes things that nobody would have ever thought about, to leave everyone in shock and become the person that did anything even if nobody believed? I did the second one, by the way. I stopped living from the victim's mindset and looked at myself as a fighter, someone who is constantly trying to improve and trying to do their best. And I actually took action to do whatever I wanted to do with my life. Now, the biggest example that I wish to give you is my driver exam. So buckle up, because it's a bit of a story right here. So I started my driver school pretty late. It was pretty close to some exams, and like there were some big national exams, and I was super stressed about it because it was obviously more stuff to study, more stuff that's time consuming. And so the driver school has two exams. So there is like the written exam and like the actual driving exam. So I did the written exam first and I failed it. And when I tell you, I went home and cried for 6 hours for a driver's test. That was the most stressful experience of my entire life. There was an insect hitting my window. Now, I took it 1 month later and I managed to pass it, but there was so much stress because I delayed everything by 1 month because I had failed that exam. And just the sadness of failing, honestly, the sadness of failing. And I'm going to tell you the key here. My mindset back then was that I could definitely study it, but I didn't feel like I deserved it. I knew I had the capacity to study because I always knew I was smart. Fun fact, I did take an IQ test and I'm on superior intelligence, like super smart or something. So I always knew that I had the mental capacity, and that was not the problem at all. The problem was my mindset. I didn't think that I deserved it. I didn't think that I deserved to pass the exam. The driver school kind of delayed and we got into holiday season, so we didn't do lessons. So that delayed with even more months. I started the driver school in September and there I was at the end of January taking like my first driving exam. I was terrified. When I tell you guys, I was absolutely terrified. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. When I tell you, my foot was like this, was like trembling on the pedal. I was that scared for an exam. I think it was just that stress and those expectations and everything. It wasn't that I could not pass the exam. It was literally just my mentality that was blocking me. So of course I did fail the exam and I had to take it 1 month later. So one more delay. I was losing my mind. I was so desperate that I didn't know what to do. Okay, we go second time to the driver's exam. I was trying to tell myself like, it's okay girl, you're gonna do it, you can do it. Failed. Do you want to know how I failed and why I failed? I knew how to drive perfectly. I drove perfectly the entire exam. 1 minute, when I tell you exactly 1 minute before the exam ended, I hit a curb. The wheel went onto the curb and I failed the exam. And the police officer then said that I drove perfectly and he would have given me the license on like the next parking lot. Like there was a parking lot right in front of me and he wanted to stop me there and give me the license because I was so good at driving. I wanted to like take something like this and hit it into my head because I was like, how could you do that, girl? How could you fail that so miserably? And here's the key. Again, what mindset did I have? What were my thoughts that day? I know I can drive. I can drive perfectly. I am insanely talented, insanely beautiful, insanely amazing, smart. And what was it? I didn't think that I deserved it. I was scared I would hit a pedestrian with the car. I was scared I was gonna just like not be enough and somehow not be a good driver enough and get into an accident and hurt people and take people's lives, and then I would just be like, I would make this entire scenario in my head in which I'm going to be responsible for someone's death and I'll never be able to forgive myself or to forget this. So what I'm trying to tell you guys and why I'm telling you this story is because it's not about the skill at all. Because I guarantee you, you're so beautiful, you're so smart, you're so capable, you're so talented. What's blocking you from being your dream self is your mind. Your mind is blocking you because you don't think you deserve it. That was me. I didn't think I deserved it. I did not believe in myself. So you have to change that. You have to believe in yourself entirely and act as the person you already wish to become. So the new mindset that I adapted is, I can do anything. I'm beautiful enough. I'm smart enough. I'm capable enough. There might be circumstances. Maybe everyone told you like, no, you can go to the gym. That's not your thing. You cannot get into this school. That's not your thing. That's so high above you. How is that so high up above you? How? Because you know you're going to succeed. You know you are that person who can absolutely succeed. And let me tell you about when I actually got the exam, my mindset, because that's the shift. That's how we are going to become our dream selves. That was the first step in my shift to becoming my dream self. One day before the third exam, again 1 month later, April 1st, the exam was on April 2nd. My national exams were beginning of June, super close. I was so stressed. I finished my last driving lesson before the third exam. I was crying. I went into my room and cried and said, I don't think I'm getting this license. And then as I was crying, my mother calls me and she's like, just hurry, come downstairs like really quick because your dog is not okay. And I was like, our dog is the center of our family. Everyone loves my dog. I'm going to put a picture of her here. She's so cute. She is the heart of the family. And that was the worst thing that could happen. A tick bit her and she got a disease. We hurried to the vet and vet told us that in the next 24 hours, we're gonna know if she lives or not. She was totally fine 2 days ago. Thinking about that, I was just like, the driver's exam is so stupid right now. This sounds so stupid. There's so many bigger issues in the world. Look at my dog who's about to die, and I was just earlier in my room crying over a stupid exam. I told myself, what if an emergency is going to happen? What if I ever have to bring my mom, my dog, my family, my grandma, anyone to the hospital, and I don't have a driver's license to do that? So what I did was I thought, it's time to man up. No matter what happens, this exam is mine. No matter what happens, I let go of these feelings like, oh my god, I can't do it. No, I can do it. I can absolutely do it. Next day was one of the hardest days of my life. This driving exam that was basically giving me a hard time for 7 months and making me have so many breakdowns, facing it once again and finding out if my dog is going to be alive or not. And this was a very successful day because my dog lived and my dog still lives to this day, and I'm so grateful for that. And I passed the driver's exam because something so bad happened that I realized the things that I think are so unachievable, the big demons, are not so big. And that's what you have to realize too. If you think like there's some random girl who's like telling you you're so ugly, whatever, there's such bigger issues in this world. Some people somewhere are dying of hunger, and this random girl told you that you're ugly and you're just going to take that for granted. No, you have to prove yourself. You have to stand up for yourself, and that's what I did. I would also like to mention about letting go, because letting go has helped me so much. Letting go is not about not wanting to be your dream self. We live in a world where different realities do exist. I mean, as in possibilities. You know the game Episode? Like, there's so many possibilities that you can pick. That is how life works too. There exist multiple possibilities, and it's your choice how you treat life, how you let life treat you, and so on. Proven by my driver's exam, because when I chose that I am ready to drive, I got a license. So that means that your dream version of yourself already exists. My dream version of myself already existed even back then. She's always there. So all you gotta do is basically access her. And how we do access her? We definitely do not access her by laying in bed and watching Netflix. That's not how you do it. It might be easier if you just take a piece of paper and think about your dream version of yourself. How does she behave? What does she think? How does she act? What are the things that she does on a daily basis? Maybe she goes to the gym, maybe she reads in the park after the school ends, maybe she goes out with her friends. Whatever it is that you want your dream self to be, okay? Whatever it is, write it down. And what do we do with that? You become her. You do exactly that. You think like that. You start to repeat those thoughts into your head, even if you do not believe it. And then you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and realize you're perfect already, and she exists already within you. Your dream version of yourself is already there. You're just tapping into her, you're just accessing her, because all the answers are within you. And I have realized all the answers are within me. And bigger change happens when the day-to-day habits actually change, because it's not going to be a bigger change if you go to the gym one time and you go there for 6 hours and you're like giving your all. No, you have to be consistent and do a small bit every single day, and watch out for your mindset. Always know that you're going to succeed, because you're a winner. You're not a victim. You're not a person who's going to fail and go and cry in their bed. You're the person that even if you fail, you're going to get up again, just like I did. I took 5 driver's exams. I got up every single time until I got that, until I understood the message. I got up. I did not give up. I refused to give up. That is what you have to do in order to be your dream self and to succeed. And now about the habits, I'm going to be getting into the second part of the clip, in which I'm going to be showing you habits that help me become my dream self. But I did want to include also this speaking part, because obviously my dream self will not be your dream self, because I have different dreams, different aspirations. Everyone has different things that they want to do with their life, but I try to generalize as much as possible in order to give you guys some ideas. I did some really pretty visuals for this, like the editing chef's kiss. And also go check out my last video, because I also did so much editing onto that and it was really pretty. So with that being said, let's load the next part of the clip. Hey sunshines, if you've made it this far, then please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also copy the link to this video, because this helps the algorithm recognize my channel, and therefore you are basically supporting my channel. Thank you. Okay, so hear me out. We are all busy people. I am a busy person as well. So I started to think about that. how can I implement in the noise of such a long day full of classes, full of editing, full of homework and everything that I have to do? How can I implement some me time and some time for the activities that I enjoy doing, like journaling or even doing research and reading, because these activities actually help me personally with my mental health. And for a long time I've actually tried lists, like making a list of all the things that I want to do every single day, like journaling or something, and I would never do them because I would never find the time. So I have completely changed this kind of routine. I made an entire morning and night routine so that I can actually implement these habits into my day every single morning and every single night, because every single morning you are setting up the intention for the day, and every single night you are setting up the intention for the next day. So morning and night routine are my non-negotiables. So every single thing that I consider to be a daily necessity of self-care, I do either in the morning, either in the night. I put the things that are more time consuming in my night routine because I have more time at night, because I'm not a morning person. But I did implement morning habits as well, and when I tell you guys, this has helped me so much become a better person and envision like everything that I want to do. Reading is so important, because we live in a world where we tend to read online a lot, right? And there's so many distractions, but there's nothing like holding a book, because our short-term memory has been so stimulated, right? Because of shorts and TikToks, we don't actually use our long-term memory, right? So a book is the best way to train that. And also it helps so much because when you scroll on your phone, you see 10 pieces of information and you cannot pick what kind of information you are going to receive. You can actually train the algorithm to show you, of course, book content or stuff like you're interested in, or art content or whatever you're interested in. But when you read the book, you actually pick the material, you choose what you want to read, and this little difference gives so much power, because you choose what kind of knowledge you're putting into yourself, because a dream version of yourself is not trying to be influenced. Your dream self is trying to influence others. And how are you going to influence others when there's 10 different opinions coming at you? If you read a book, you can form your own opinion on top of it, and you can pick the topic. You don't have to read a trashy book or some trashy romance. I mean, if it makes you feel good, then go for it, but choose books that you think will actually benefit you. I always read books that I think will benefit me in some way, because what you read, especially because you're seeing it, will stay into your head. And then this is what you're going to believe, and this is what you are going to work towards. So that's why it's so important to choose the media that you're consuming. So that's why books are still such a valuable source even into this day. I've always been a journaler. I've loved journaling ever since I was a child. I sadly do not have a photo of the books to show you, but I promise I'm just gonna like post an old spread of mine from my journals, like when I was 10 years old, on the YouTube community. So go check that out, because I'm going to do that. I think in elementary school I had like 10 different journals. I've loved journaling, and even though I had periods of time in which I stopped, I just have been enjoying journaling so much lately. And nowadays I carry my journal with me everywhere I go, because there's so many distractions out there that sometimes you even forget your own thoughts. So when I have a valuable thought, I just put it down and note it, and I can always look back onto, and I always put the date there, because for example, I've had periods of my life where I knew amazing things were happening, and when I look back at them, I remember amazing things were happening within me. So I just want to like be able to read and to look back at to what were my thoughts like, so that I could tap into those thoughts again. It's so important to have your own place where you can just talk to yourself, because as I said before, you have to form your own opinions. So when you start to actually think and be aware of what's happening to you, that's when you can change things, because things in life do repeat. So if you're not going to be aware and not write it down and not be aware of your feelings, you're just gonna pass through life like a leaf flowing through the wind, and you're not going to get anything, because no knowledge is going to stick with you, and with no knowledge you cannot evolve into your dream self. Going to events is so important, because hear me out. If you are going to be your dream self, how are you going to do that if you stay inside of your home 24/7? How? Because you're not evolving, you're not seeing people. Like, even if you just find some people that are terrible, you're learning something, you're evolving, and next time you run into these terrible people, you're gonna know how to avoid it at least. If you stay into your home and don't go to any club, any events, you're not going to be able to evolve, you're not going to be able to grow. It's so important. And this time I actually managed to exhibit my artworks into some exhibition, because I do draw and I am an artist. It was so fun. Just look at the setup. It was like a basement gallery. It was super interesting, and an experience that helped me grow so much, because now I know how people dress at exhibitions. What do people eat there? What do they drink there? How do they act? How do they speak? How long does this thing last? How we set up the exhibition before, and so on. And this has helped me so much grow and evolve. Just going. You don't have to be perfect, you don't have to fear, you don't have to be ashamed, just go. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye.